So I want to say welcome to all our listeners this afternoon and welcome to Coach Leo. It's really, really good to have you here in the studio with us today. And thank you for gracing us with your time.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Bob. It's a big pleasure to be, stay here with you and for enjoy the bench meeting.
Yes. It's football talk,
Nice,
and you've
nice.
already started, in our conversation earlier. But just to give the audience an idea as to the level of this coach, I mean, Coach Leo has traveled practically the world, and I'll allow him to give him a little bit of a background on himself. But he possesses a UEFA Pro as well as a license, and he also has coached in Brazil. He's coached in Thailand. He's coached in Montego Bay FC, which I just found out was actually a professional team. So he's to coach in Africa twice, South Africa at Platinum Stars, and even won the Mandela Cup in 2009, and then Tanzania, where he won the National League and the Super Cup in 2014 and 2015, which is very recently as well too. That's only 5 years ago, all things considered. And as I mentioned, he's worked in Asia, and I'm in St Kitts and Nevis. I keep saying that there's, for the size of the country, for the amount of persons, we really tend to overachieve, and in the acquisition of Coach Leo, we have really found a real gem. So I'm going to get right into the conversation, but I want to, on behalf of St Kitts and Nevis, want to say, first of all, thank you very much for allowing us to be tutored by yourself, because you have an extensive resume, and one that most other teams, professional clubs and teams in the world would want to have you amongst their ranks. So thank you very much for gracing us with your presence.
It's my pleasure.
So tell us a little bit about because I noticed you were a player first, obviously, and then a coach. So tell us a little bit about your playing career.
Yeah, it was short time. I played from 8 years old. We started in futsal. Futsal.
Yes,
Futsal
yes.
is a futsal indoor.
Indoor, yes.
And then start like that, and then I moved myself to the field, and then I played until 24 years old.
Nice.
And then why I stopped? Because, the level in Brazil is so hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard to improve yourself. And then I prefer stop, because the truth is, I was not able to find the level that I wish.
You wanted to play.
Yeah, of course. That's why I stopped with 24 years old. And then I was able to finish my college, the university, the post-graduation, and then I started the new season in my life.
Brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant. So you're one of those players like myself who, after a few years of trying it, you realize, okay, there's a lot more going on in your brain,
Yeah, sure.
than it is that you're able to put out on the football
Yeah.
field, and you're able to contribute to a wider persons who have the ability to raise it to the next level. I also realize that you did a lot of studies as it relates to coaching and to build your capacity. Can you give us a little bit of an example as to what you were able to do and what's offered for persons who might be interested in pursuing a career similar to yours?
Yeah, and also it's a coincidence, because yesterday in the Warner Park, a local coach, he requested for me, and he asked for me, hey coach, what do you think about how it's possible for me, increase myself?
Yes.
And then I replied to him, okay, the first point is study football every single day.
Right.
Watch so many games as possible about Bundesliga, La Liga, English Premier League, Brazil, whatever. You need to eat football every single day. And then also the license is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started before in 2007. It was my first license in Brazil, like a local license.
Yes.
And then now in 2017, I attended the A license, and in 2019 the Pro license.
The Pro license.
Yeah, from CBF Comebol.
Mm-hmm.
It's not from UEFA. It's
Right.
from
Comebol,
Comebol.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we keep. I study every single day.
Okay.
It's very important for never stop. You cannot stop.
It seems like CBF has a very the CBF have a very active coaching program
Yeah.
to try and compete with, because you always hear about the UEFA, the English League and everything else, but Brazil's football has always been on a higher level to a certain extent to be able to compete. And is it because the coaching and the management by the CBF is of a very high standard as well? The expectations of coaches?
Yeah. You know, because example, the truth is, FIFA is the
Governing body,
yeah, sure. And then we have UEFA from Europe. We have CONMEBOL
Right.
from South America, CONCACAF and CAF and the AFC from Asia.
Okay.
But the truth is, before it was a little politics. UEFA they set up the coaching program around 20 years ago, and then of course you can see more coaches from Europe with the pro lines than South American coaches.
South America, yes.
Because in South America we start like that officially and properly around 7 or 8 years ago. Example, we have the high level coaches in Argentina, in Chile, in Brazil, Brazilian coaches from the national team.
Right.
We just organize ourselves about the officially pro lines by the FIFA right now, maybe 7 or 5 years ago. Because before we had a
the
Brazilian license. So it's a long time ago.
Right. So that you'd reach the Brazilian A license and then that would be it, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's why. Example, I have my A license from Brazil. It was from 2006 or 2007.
Oh, okay.
But the A license that I got now, 4 years ago, is by the new rules from the FIFA. That's why,
Brilliant. But there's a lot of South American, because that's one of the things we were discussing. My favorite coaches are South American coaches, at least right now in world football. So there is a lot of quality in terms of the coaching coming out of South America, even though the licensing system might be a little bit skewed toward the European coaches. I think there's a lot of quality that comes out. Is it because of the intensity of the licensing in South America, the setup there?
Yeah, I agree. We have now, before, maybe 2004, maybe over 10 years ago, we had Filipão, Brazilian coach in Portugal.
Right.
And he made a brilliant job in Portugal. He was the second place in Eurocup.
Europe,
yeah, that. We had before a Brazilian coach in Real Madrid, Vanderlei Luxemburgo. But because of the lines, the new rules, Brazilian coaches stay a little, how can I say, like that.
Stay away from
away. And then now we have Sampaoli, Bielsa, always Bielsa and Sampaoli. They have a very good knowledge and competition in Spain. We have example, especially for me, Bielsa now he's in England, but Sampaoli as well, World Cup. The South American coaches, they are increasing step by step. And they also. I hope that maybe why not? Maybe one day we can have maybe a Caribbean coach overseas. Why not? We need to believe. We need to support them because, example, imagine that 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you cannot imagine a Brazilian coach in England.
No.
But later, Filipão, he was there like that.
You also had mentioned Simeone. He could potentially win La Liga and break the Real Barcelona hold on La Liga now for the first time in as long as I could remember. That would be a major achievement for a South American coach.
And they also now Simeone and also now there are maybe 2 or 3 Argentina coaches that they were before in Brazil and Argentina. They move now to Spanish
La Liga.
And to England.
Brilliant. Yeah. I guess because they're seeing the movements of all of these coaches. Excellent work. Tell me a little bit then about yourself then, Coach, in terms of your travels around the world and assisting different teams?
Yeah, it start like it's not like my plan.
Yeah.
My first job in Brazil, it was like assistant coach in America, in my hometown in Rio de Janeiro, and then coming the invitation by my friend, he recommended me to Saudi Africa to work there in the academy, like under 17, under 20, like that. I spent there 2 years in Saudi Africa. It was amazing because, it's the first job
Yes.
as head coach. And then I have time to do how can I say, like a laboratory,
You build your team from
my ideas.
Yeah,
I
all your
can-
ideas. And
I can
everything
set
else.
up my ideas,
Yeah, yeah.
and then I got time. And then it start like that because I worked in South Africa. We got the Nelson Mandela Cup.
I saw that. Yes,
We
yes,
won.
yes.
It was amazing for us. And then I come back to Brazil, but I just spent Brazil after South Africa 6 months in my hometown in the local league. After that, came another invitation, from Asia.
Okay.
And then the second time, and then start like that, step by step, day by day, month by month, and year by year. In Asia, I spent 3 years straight, 2010, 11, 12. And then the first job, it was in academy with under 17 and then 20. And then after that, came the first invitation for the professional club. That's why I believe that we need start your career like that. Example, academy. We cannot burn the stages,
Right.
like that.
Right. You can't skip any stage. You need to go through all the stages.
Sure. And then after age, I come back to Brazil, always professional level. And then coming Tanzania. Tanzania, it was a top club in Tanzania, fantastic club, very good facilities inside the pitch, outside the field. Also, we had so many, how can I say, national team players. Even, not only from Tanzania, even from
Other
Congo,
countries and nearby.
Congo, Rwanda, Angola. Is a top club, That's why, it start like that. I believe that is a correct way,
Right. And then you eventually got back to Jamaica, Montego Bay.
It was 2015. It was short time, stint, but we got the championship. The name of the club, it was Montego Bay United FC, and I enjoyed a lot the Jamaican food, the Jamaican football. They are professional.
Yes.
And
yes.
Like Trinidad and Tobago, they are professional. But about us over here in St Kitts, I can realize that our league, our local league, I surprised myself because we have a semi-professional league, but the level is so close of Jamaica.
Nice.
So close of Jamaica. Of course, that we lost in the fitness, in the body shape, because they are professional.
Agreed.
We are not.
Agreed. So they spend more time. So how come? What was the interest then in St Kitts? Because I mean, you're looking at, as I said, a small country. And I guess for you, it was not. It's not just a case of you're wanting the experience, because you could get the experience anywhere. What made St Kitts a nice choice for you at this particular stage of your development?
The first point. I came in because it is a national team.
Nice.
National team is national team, whatever, everywhere.
Yes. Respect.
Yeah, sure.
Immediately. Yes.
But about the league, and about the facilities, surprised myself because I was around the island,
Caribbean, yeah.
and I saw so many grounds. Every single club, they have their facilities, their grounds, also the high schools.
Yes.
And I spoke to my friend, Mr. Troy Spuddy.
Spuddy, yes.
Yeah,
yes, yes. He was supposed to be here with us this afternoon. Hopefully he joins us. Yeah.
He supported me a lot.
Yeah.
Also, I send a big hugs to him. But I surprised because every single school in the high school, they have good ground. And of course, the population, we are not so big.
Yes.
But for the few population that we have, it's 50,000, something like that. 50,000.
Yeah, about 50,000 in St Kitts and a few about 6 or so thousand, 6 to 10,000.
Yeah, but because example, I compare about Uruguay, because Uruguay they have 3 millions the population,
right?
The people, 3 million people, but they are like amazing football players.
Agreed. So you could call names from Uruguay, Suarez and
Suarez,
Cavani,
Forlan. If you
yes.
compare, Brazil have 220,000 million people.
Wow,
it's amazing.
Point. Yes,
that's why
we
we are like a factory to produce local players, footballers. But if you come to St Kitts, you have 50,000, but we have so many young talented players. Also, it's a big surprise for me.
Okay.
And I'm pleased about that because it's very, very good. For me, it's very good. It's fantastic.
Because you like the academy structure. You like to see the youngsters come through
of course,
and develop. Do you think that with all of the, because we could talk a little bit more about the since you've come here, do you think we make as much use as we possibly can? Because as you said, I've noticed it as well. We've got fields practically everywhere. And there's a lot of youngsters whom are interested in playing the sport. Do you think that we use those facilities as best as we possibly can to keep those youngsters involved in the game, or is there room for more improvement in terms of how they're doing things there?
Yeah, of course, we can develop, we can increase about this situation, but the association, they have their program about that, the youth program. But of course, example, what I realize over here, imagine that if we have more consistency, example, every single day,
yes.
Because we need more time.
Yeah.
They need training more and more. But we are training the youth. They can train, but not every single day.
Agreed.
But for improve, you need more consistency. Like that.
Yeah. And tell me then about your initial impressions, because you in our discussions, you're able now to identify players in a very short space of time. I mean, you have an idea as to your national team. You've been watching a lot of the games. I know you mentioned the quality of football that you've observed. From your initial perception, how let's assume you were given the lab that you how long do you think would it take for these guys to raise their level to, let's say, a semi-pro, like what you would have observed at Montego Bay?
Yeah, at least, example, at least maybe 1 year, but 1 year at least. But of course, that if we are going to train every single day, 3 months, 4 months, we can start to realize
Make
something.
some difference.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay.
Especially about the tactical way.
Yeah. And in terms of the supporting cast, because one of my challenges with football in St Kitts is that, like we would have been discussing earlier, the game between St Paul's and Village was a very high quality game.
Good, I agree. Yeah, sure.
But then you watch a game corresponding, let's say, between, and I'm just calling names not to cast aspersions, but let's say South Stars versus D8B.
Yeah, because they coming from the Division 1.
Division 1.
They coming from Division 1, sure.
And the quality is not necessarily where it's supposed to be. And my concern is that the coaching, you've got a handful of elite coaches, and then the others almost still in the process of learning their tasks. Is there any way we as a federation can improve in that regard?
Yeah, and they also know the key point is these clubs that came from the Division 1, of course that the good players, they prefer play for the top clubs like São Paulo's, Vila Superstars, but they can use the young players. They need to discover the young players.
Okay, so it give them more opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because, example, the young player, imagine the players with 17 years old 18 years old, 19, like under 20.
Mm-hmm.
They need exposed more these players
Right.
in the small clubs and the medium clubs.
Right.
Because of course that, example, São Paulo, the other champion, they have young players and good, but of course, the top clubs, they need more experienced players
To maintain the standard.
Yeah.
But with these clubs that coming up, then you're saying that maybe they should give them their youngsters a little bit more exposure,
Sure.
so that they will be the future, basically.
Yeah.
They may not stay up, but at the very least they have that experience to take with them.
They are doing that. Example, if you go to Old Road,
Yes.
they have Nikon Brown.
Mm-hmm.
He's playmaker, he's very good player. They have Tiquani, the winger, is a young boy. Keyon for me is not small club, is
A big club, yeah.
Big club.
Yeah.
And they also Keyon, they have a very, very good young talents. I can mention over here maybe 4 or 5 names for the
Nice.
future.
Nice.
Maybe,
Nice.
Malik Roberts, Malik, the 2 center backs, the right full back. They have Sadlers. If you go to the Sadlers, they have the left winger, Nikon Phipps, Barnes, the playmaker,
Yes.
Xavier French. So we have so many names, so many. Of course, that I cannot talk about every single one. Maybe I forgot some player, but no, we have. Also, I already organized myself, and I already sent for the association, like the proposal squad for the next year or 2 years later.
Agreed.
Like a under 23 squad for the future, because not for now, because we have no enough time for
Qualifiers.
For the qualifiers.
Right.
Too close, and then we cannot test the players for now. The lab for now.
Would not be a helpful, because
Sure.
not enough time.
Sure, because of that. But believe me, also is our proposal, and we spoke a lot about that with our association, the technical director, Mr. Hazel, and with me. We agree about that. After June, after the qualifiers, we are going to prepare the transition.
Brilliant.
To set
Yeah.
up a renew of the average of the group, like that.
Okay, but before I will come back to that, because I want to break down a bit more that your proposal that you discussed, because I think that's something that we really need to look into a little bit more seriously. But now in front of us we have the qualifiers, and one of the main considerations / concerns you would hear from the local population is the presence of the overseas-based players, all Kittitians, as opposed to in terms of the numbers versus the locally based players. What are your thoughts on this? Because some of these overseas players, you may only be able to see them on TV or video clips and stuff like that, so you're not really able to interact with them until you meet them on your trip. How have you been working in terms of integrating them and the locally based players?
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a very good question, because that's why we need to set up a new generation. Because, example, the Kitchen people, especially the kids,
Yes.
and the teenagers,
Yes.
they need to identify a good player, an idol over here in the island,
Yes.
in the local league.
Right.
Because, example, we have amazing players overseas.
Right.
Romani Sowers, he plays the Premier League.
Right.
So you
Yeah,
cannot imagine his level, the facilities, everything. But we need to organize, and we need to give more conditions for the local players for improve themselves, and also for expose more them, because it's my idea, also is my suggestion about that. We need to export more the local players.
Okay.
Maybe for Central America, for Asia, for US, Canada, whatever.
Look for different markets.
Yeah, and also with a better level of competition.
Right.
And with best facilities. I have shown, and also we need to organize a balance between the local player and the overseas-based players. Because, example, if you're going to check the national team, the previous games, you cannot check so many local players in the first 11 starters, the lineup.
Agreed.
Maybe maximum 2 or 3. And then we need to organize a balance, a equal percent about that. It's not so easy.
No, it's going to take time.
Also because we have a semi-professional. This is the big challenge. Is time.
Yeah. And then those overseas-based players, like you mentioned, they play and they train as their job.
Yeah, sure.
And they are more physically, mentally prepared for the upcoming qualifiers, whereas the locally based players, yes, the Premier League have started here, but in terms of the training regimes, in terms of the amount of games played, they're not going to be on the level of some of the overseas-based players.
Sure.
So in the terms of qualifying now, you need to sort of strike a balance so that you ensure you get us past this round before you can even begin to think about creating a balance between
because
the two.
I have already in my mind about the players for later, after June, but for now I cannot call some players that I wish.
Yes.
I want to call them, but it's not possible for now. Then I need to use more experienced players.
Right.
Also about some local players with more experience, They are more composure players. But I hope so that after June, but we start already because, example, now coming overseas based players from US, coming some injury, we need to cut him from the final list.
Final level, right?
And then I select Malik Roberts.
Brilliant.
From Keyon. So we start like that because football is like that. Football is so
dynamic. It changes all the time. Yeah. So he would get an opportunity because of the. Now you also indicated to me that you've been spending a lot of time researching the teams that we will be coming up against in terms of the qualifiers, and you said there's a disparity as well in terms of the amount of training those teams are getting in between what we are getting in here locally. Can you explain to the public the challenge that you have with that?
Yeah, it's true, and it's not our fault. Because is according to the COVID. Restriction, the protocols of COVID. You are not able to play friendly games overseas, because if we are going to play overseas, we need to come back to the quarantine.
Yes, agreed.
And then also they cannot come to St Kitts. I mean about
St. Kitts is 14 days quarantine as opposed to other countries. Yes.
Imagine that nobody wants to come to play over here, because also the clubs don't allow the players.
Just 2 weeks quarantine and then a week to play. Yeah, that's 3 weeks literally.
That's why it's a big challenge for us, because we are trying to organize the preparation. Tomorrow we start like a camp for us, a week before the travel. We are going to Dominican Republic next Sunday, March 21st. And then over there in Dominican, we have 3 days. No, not 3 days, maybe 2 days before the
qualifier.
Game. The qualifiers against Puerto Rico.
Oh.
That's why it's a big challenge for us, the time.
Yeah, and you were saying that Puerto Rico actually playing friendlies.
Yeah, they played 2 friendly games. The last game that I remember, it was against Guatemala away, and they lost the game 1-0.
Okay.
And Bahamas, they played last week a double game against Bermuda in Tampa, Florida. But we know football is for me, that's why football is amazing, because inside the pitch is 11 against 11, and also I believe in the hope. And always with a positive mind, I believe that we can do a very good job in the qualifiers. Also, we can beat them.
Yes.
We can beat them.
I suspect that I have a good feeling about at least this first round of games. I have a very good feeling about the experience that you're bringing, because one of the things I think we as the local coaches tend not to do as much as research on the teams that we play, and understanding how to use that research, understanding how to observe the team, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and then adapt accordingly. And that was something that you were explaining to me in terms of how we would try and approach these first few qualifiers. We have a good record against Puerto Rico and the Bahamas, but you explained to me how you would have to approach it based on the fact that you don't have enough time to train it.
Especially, specifically about Puerto Rico, I realized because I studied so many videos, so many games that I saw by YouTube, by internet. Puerto Rico, they try play a beautiful football. They try set up a situation building from the back, and pass, move. But this is good for us because the transition, they are not so fast.
In transition.
Yeah, the transition, and then this is a key point for us because, of course, that they're not so bad. They have a good quality for keep the ball possession, but I have sure that come in the mistake, and they also I prepare myself, I organize myself like I study myself about the overseas clubs from Asia, Africa, Central America, Caribbean, anywhere. For the club, for the team to be able to organize and to cross over 7 or 8 passes consecutively is very difficult.
Very, yes.
Only the high-level clubs. And then I have sure that we are going to study the first 15 minutes of the game against Puerto Rico. We are just waiting the mistake. And then we play, according their mistakes. Like a counter-attack.
Right.
But, of course, and then we change a little. But always, we are going to use the fast transition. We don't want to spend a long time with the ball possession, without target, without objective. This is the principle and the main point that I try every single day. Talk to my players.
Right.
Okay, keep the ball, but with a target. No for pass to back, to side like that. About Bahamas, Bahamas. Also, Bahamas, they don't have a professional league, and they are small like us. But the best player of Bahamas, I coached him in Jamaica 5-6 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And his name is Leslie Sanflair. He's the captain of Bahamas.
Okay.
And I saw maybe 2 or 3 games. But Bahamas, they have a different style of Jamaica, of St Kitts. They prefer, they put the focus on the
attack.
No, I mean the high balls.
They use a lot of high balls.
Straight connection.
Direct.
Yeah, straight connection. High
direct.
ball.
Right.
Because they are not able to set up, to building the play.
Not enough technical quality maybe in the team. Now, in that type of game, then is it that you're going to have to use a lot more stronger, bigger defenders?
More contact. In the attention, we have to be alert about the second ball.
Yes.
Because it's the Caribbean style. If you're going to watch a Caribbean game, how many times the goalkeeper start
a play, an attack? Yep.
Always he try like a high connection, straight connection.
And then the player who touches it first would try and set up somebody else to run on goal or find them in a good position.
Yeah, this example. In my view over here in St Kitts, we are able to keep the ball. We are able to do that, but we cannot expose ourselves in our pitch.
Yes.
This is the mistake of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, they expose them a lot in their pitch, in defensive zone.
Yes.
It's a risk. It's a risk because they want to prepare, they want to organize a beautiful football, but they're not so able to do that.
Right.
About us, we are able. We have, in my view, we have more quality players than Puerto Rico, especially also the local players. I have sure about that. Our local players, they have very good quality. It's like a natural.
Yes, a natural ability.
Natural ability.
Right.
But we need to play with intelligence,
Right.
and they also using the vertical game.
Mm.
This is my big point, the key point. Only to finish this situation, we need to play. Example, we need to find the third final of their pitch
Right.
with the more few pass
As possible.
as possible. Exactly.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. So try and get the ball into their final third without having to.
If it's possible,
possible,
even 4
yeah.
to 7 pass is amazing for us.
Yes.
Because, example, if you check the EPL, we have so many clubs that they play like that.
Yes. Yes.
Especially West Ham. But if you are going to check Manchester City, they have a completely different style.
To almost everybody in the EPL.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes. They want to play what Puerto Rico. Well, they play what Puerto Rico wants to play. But like you were mentioning to me earlier, in order to play that style, you need quality all over the pitch. You can't try and do it with some players up to the technical level and others, because you're gonna make the mistakes, you're gonna get the errors, and then it opens you for counter attack on transition. In terms of St Kitts and Nevis, then we will have to almost change our systems to suit the opponent, and I suppose that's where the overseas-based players come in as well, the experience of playing different styles and settings and everything else.
Sure. And also, we cannot change so much in
such a small space of time.
Yeah, in short time.
Without the training and everything.
And also, we need to respect the culture of the country.
Yeah.
About St Kitts and Nevis.
Mm-hmm.
And the example, if I come here and I try change the local style to play like a tic-tac, forget about.
Right.
Forget about it, because, example, if you're going to Guardiola, Pep Guardiola's Manchester City coach, is amazing coach. But imagine that if Pep Guardiola came to St Kitts or maybe to Jamaica, he's not able to apply his mind about football.
No.
He needs to adapt himself about the club or national team. That's why, example, if you ask for me, Coach Leo, what you prefer? Who is the best coach for you in English Premier League? Okay, the best coach by the results is Pep Guardiola.
Right.
Because he comes to be champion right now.
Yeah.
But for me, the best coach is about the mind, the philosophy, the methodology is Klopp for Liverpool.
Right.
Because they are playing a very, very good football, a vertical football, and with fast transition.
Yes,
very
fast transition.
I love fast transition.
Yes. In fact, you like me, you are a Manchester United fan from before, but you're saying that because of, well, is it that you tend to follow coaches more so than actual teams, in the sense that for me, I like to see beautiful football. Whether or not it's attacking all the time, or like you said, Pep Guardiola tends to use the tic-tac-toe. Give me good football. And Klopp, at this point, once, I guess now you're going through a little slump because his players are injured, but he has adapted, because he came from Borussia Dortmund, and he adapted to the English, and then now you said the intensity now that he's able to get, high intensity, high press, and the team now has bought into his philosophy after working with them for a number of years. One of my favorite coaches, as well as like I mentioned to you earlier, is Marcelo Bielsa, and Leeds have started to make some great strides. But even in his case, he started working with Leeds at least 3 years ago, and they had the opportunity to come up last year, but I think it was fair play, and he himself had decided that they weren't yet ready to test the Premier League. Then this year, now he's come up and he's made a big splash to the point where he's not even going to be relegated.
Sure.
So it's in terms of then our ability, or players' ability to be able to adapt. Have you been able to get that type of overall reception from the locally based players that you've worked with? Are they open to these changes? Are they open to these new ideas? Have you been able to get through to them in terms of what your vision?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they are able to do. But example, we need time for that.
Yeah,
That's why I spoke before, at least 1 year.
yeah,
1 year, but 1 year in the long term.
yeah.
But we can check some difference around 4 months.
Okay.
3 to 4 months we can see something, you know. But they are able to do. Of course that we want to organize a football with fast transition, but also I want to increase the ball possession. I want to increase the ball possession.
Right, right.
you know.
So that at least they can adapt.
I want to change a little, no more a lot, straight connection, high balls, keep more the ball on the ground, start building with your goalkeeper, and start, of course, that for this we need training.
Yeah, you know who does that a lot in terms of the local teams? Keon does that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of building, a lot of gradual building football. As you said, maybe it's because they have a lot of young talents there as well.
And
too.
they also don't forget about their coach. Coach George Isaac.
Yellow Man. Yeah.
Is my assistant coach. Is very good coach. They have a very good young talents. Maybe 4 to 5 or 6. I have sure they come to the national team.
Nice.
After June.
Nice.
The two center backs, the right full back, Malik Hobbs that I select right now.
Yes.
Marvin Lewis. The playmaker is Leon.
Yes.
Is the youngest boy that we have in the national team in the program. He's 17 or 18 years old.
Oh, congrats to him! Yeah, very good, very good.
And also the forward is Carte. Also is good boy for the next years, for the future.
Okay. So St Kitts also plays from the park, they're a bit too paced. There's a time when they're very intense, and they tend to there's a lot of intensity in the game, a lot of physicality in the game. Would they stack up against some of those teams that are playing a bit more often, such as Puerto Rico and the Bahamas? How you think they're going to stack up against those players who tend to include a bit more physicality in the game?
Yeah, but example, now the UK players, they are coming to support us. Of course, we are going to do a mixed football because they are able to play with mobile possession. But example, especially against Bahamas.
Right.
Bahamas against us, we cannot play against Bahamas on their way.
Oh, okay.
We need impose our style.
Right.
Because they love that. Second ball, high ball, contact. Because if the game starts like that, it's very good for them.
Okay.
And then we are going to propose the game. Keep the ball possession with targets. And against Puerto Rico, coming like naturally.
Yeah.
Because Puerto Rico, they enjoy play football. They like play a beautiful football.
Yes.
They are not so able to do that. I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. They
at least for the 2 games.
So many mistakes for a day. But you see, it will be a good game for us. Puerto Rico, they don't have how can I say, so strong players.
Right.
I mean about the tall guys, they have short players. They have short players. Except about the center backs, the other players, they're not so strong.
So we may be able to use that level of physicality versus them, whilst against Bahamas it wouldn't be as helpful because they want to play that game. They're not able to play fluent football.
Yeah.
So if you play their rough and tumble game, then that suits them. They would just wait for the mistake to be made.
Oh, yeah, of course that against Puerto Rico, we need to use your fast because I have sure we have more speed guys, more powerful players.
Good.
Naturally, because we are the Caribbean players.
Yes.
They are descendant from Africa. That's why I love working in Africa.
Yeah.
I worked in Africa twice already. South Africa, Tanzania. They have a natural powerful. That's why Puerto Rico is from Central America. They are more like a
dancers.
Latin football.
Yeah.
Looks like a Brazilian style, but they are on the middle way, you know. But I saw the game. I saw 3 or 4 games from Puerto Rico, and I enjoy their style, but I please because, you know, try play like that because come in the mistake. This is the big point. Come in the mistake for us.
Because they can't sustain that type of style for 90 minutes.
It's impossible. They need to adapt
to
their football for the competition level. Because sometimes you need to play a straight football. If you check Klopp, sometimes he changed his style.
Yes.
Sometimes he try play with high connection.
Yeah. And then you have your fast forwards attack. At high rates. In fact, when he presses very high with Van Dijk and it's because he wants to make that direct connection sometimes and cut out the counter attack.
Especially Mane.
Yeah, Mane is direct.
Amazing player.
Very, very, very good player. Tell me then, let's go back then to the academy because there's so much I think we can get and gain from you in terms of the qualifiers, yes. But I'm realistic, and then sometimes persons tend to be a little bit hard on me because of that. I don't see us being able to qualify for the next World Cup, given the level of the competition at the next level. So we may get past this round with some relative ease, but realistically speaking, I don't see St Kitts and Nevis flag being raised at the next World Cup. I think they're looking to expand it.
I agree.
One afterward, and that may be a more realistic target. And this is where your academy concepts and everything else comes in. In terms of your style, overall style, as to what you would ideally like to see St Kitts and Nevis play, can you describe that for us? And then in that way, I can perhaps get an idea as to the academy concept that you explain to the public.
Yeah, because, for example, I agree with you. You know, it's very difficult for St. Kitts get the qualifiers, especially because we have in CONCACAF only 2 or 3 places, and we have Mexico, USA, Costa Rica. It's very
I think
difficult.
it's 2 and 1. There's one that you have a playoff
Oceania.
Against Oceania.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes.
But it's very hard also for the top 5, because if you check now CONCACAF, the first one is Mexico, USA, the third one is
we have Honduras, Guatemala.
No, but the top 5 is Mexico, Costa Rica, Mexico, USA, Costa Rica,
Jamaica.
No, Jamaica is 5.
Right.
I forgot the number 4.
Trinidad.
No. Trinidad is reverse.
Nicaragua.
No. Panama is out. Is out.
Yeah.
I mean top 5. US, Mexico, US.
Canada not.
No, also it's out.
5.
You see, they are so strong. The top 5 they are so strong.
Yeah.
The top 5 they are just wait for us.
Yes.
And then also I hope qualify for the next stage, and then we are going to play against the winner of the group of El Salvador. And maybe El Salvador coming for the next stage, the next phase, you know. But it's very difficult. But football is amazing. It's crazy, you know. Maybe supposed to be always Mexico, US, and then coming maybe Costa Rica. They are very strong. But why Panama got maybe first time or twice? Panama got already the World Cup. Jamaica also.
Yes.
Trinidad Tobago also.
Yes.
Of course, they use a lot of the overseas based players. But about the academy, imagine that football in Brazil. Why Brazil is too strong? Because we play football on the street with 4, 5, 6 years old, but we start officially with 7 to 8 years old. Play futsal and football. And like we have every single club in Brazil, they have under 10, under 12, under 14, under 17, under 20.
And they play competition football.
Yeah, officially. This is the secret. Also, if you go into Europe, the same way.
Right.
So if St Kitts prepare, they have already the youth program, but
Right.
I mean, with more intensity, you know.
Introduce them from an earlier age.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
It's like they basically coming step by step, you know. And they also, because I believe, a very, very funny France. France national team.
Yes.
How many French guys they use? When I mean French guys,
Not many.
because they are African.
Yes, most of them are African.
Yeah.
Based for this.
And maybe only Griezmann.
Yeah, only Griezmann.
And they also maybe
And Lloris, Hugo Lloris, the goalkeeper.
and they also maybe Griezmann. If you check his family, maybe his grandfather or grandmother, they are not French, really French.
Agreed.
That's why the African.
Yeah.
I spoke a lot with that in Brazil. Hey, the best continent in the world is Africa, because it's like
Good point.
so many.
You're getting that strength, but I think what they miss is the training in
The genetic.
Yeah,
I mean about the genetic.
Yeah, yes, the genetic. Yes,
The
yes.
genetic.
Yes.
So
yes.
if you go to Africa, they spread for other countries,
Right.
and they also to Caribbean zone. And for me, is the key point. If the Caribbean region organize a professional academy from under 10,
All
of
the way
course,
up, yeah.
of course, imagine it, because we have so many players, they can play abroad. I have sure maybe 2 or 3 years later, these guys, the under 23 players that we have now, they can play abroad and they are able to do that. But imagine that if these guys, if they have a basic formation,
Yes.
like a basement,
Yes.
you understand me?
Yes.
Basement.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, what would your basic? I mean, having been here, what would your basic formation be for a St Kitts Nevis national team, for example?
That I use now.
Yeah.
I use normally we have the 1-4-4-2, but I use 4-2-3-1
Okay.
because the basic system is 4-4-2.
Right.
From 4-4-2, we have the variations.
Right.
4-2-3-1, 4-1-4-1, 4-3-3, like that. But I use more the 4-2-3-1. But according the circumstance of the game, during the game, we change about that. Example, with the ball possession, we are playing maybe 3-5, or maybe 3-1-6 in the last part of the pitch.
The pitch, right.
In
right,
attack zone,
Right.
you know.
Right. Right.
But always we try keep maybe 3-5. 3-5.
Make sure you have the protection, the stability at the back,
Sure.
and then you attack in numbers.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Is it that you start? Is it that is this your natural starting lineup? I mean, starting setup, or is it something that you have adapted since you've been here? Is that the 4-4-2 and its adaptations? Is it something that you're custom using and you like to use, or is it something that you use because?
No, I like.
Okay.
Usually I prefer 4-2-3-1.
Right.
But also everywhere that I work before, I try use like diamond support. What I mean a diamond support is like that. Every single player with the ball, when this guy control the ball, at least he needs maybe 3 players.
2 or 3 options.
2 or 3 options approach.
Right.
This is the big point. Sometimes we play so we need to play more compact.
Right.
More compact.
Right.
Vertical compact and the horizontally compact.
Right.
And they also with block, using more block, because I can realize here in the local league, they try play a good football, but so many space.
Too much space sometimes.
Too much space in
Right.
the middle, especially in the middle zone.
Right.
But why? Why that? I have sure because the physical condition. That's why they try, but they are not able
To keep up
to keep the up and down, up and down, up and down.
and maintain the shape all
Yeah.
along. Oh,
The block.
Okay.
That's why. But I try sometimes, example, I'm going to use now, especially against Puerto Rico, the first game, we keep with ball possession, the two center backs, and a belt with three players. Like we have 5 players.
Right.
But the 3 players, they can support the offensive zone. But I wait the counter-attack from them. And then I attack, but attack, think about the next situation.
The transition, the counter-attack. Right. Right.
The offensive transition from the opponent.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
why we keep 2 plus 3. 2 plus 3 is like 5, but no, Lee wants to play so like Mourinho. No. Because the by zone, we allow the player to go.
To go forward.
To go forward. He can support and also this guy, he's going like a surprise guy. You know, he going from the back.
And then he pushes forward, right? So you affords that support from the back where they're not expecting it.
Exactly. Sure. This is the point.
Excellent. And then yet when on the defense now, everybody is so compact that there's very little room for a counter attack, that at least the ones coming over the top or anything of the sort, because everybody's there supporting.
And also we are going to close the center way, because today, if you check the several leagues in the world, all the leagues, the formation, the key point is close the center way. You know, example, the flanks, of course, we need to use a lot the flanks.
Right.
But no makes sense we open our back line.
Right.
Because over there is like a dead zone.
Right.
And
can't score from there.
Yeah, it's
Right.
very difficult. And then we close the center way. And also, I spoke to them, don't try play a lot on the middle zone in our pitch. Because if come a mistake over there,
then
it's
the
so
transition
close,
is
so
right
clo-
to the goal. Yeah.
so close of our goal.
Yeah.
This is my idea.
Brilliant.
We are play like a diamond support, because this is my big concern, because for that we need more time for training. Because I can realize about that in my training sessions. I train already 5 or 6 times over here, plus 1 training game against Old Road. But this is the more, how can I say, the key point for develop right now. Play more compact.
Right.
And give support.
On the attack.
Yeah.
Just but ensure that you maintain your shape and ensure that you're compact, at least for now, until we get to be able to bring all the other aspects of our game later on. But Coach Leo, there's so much. I mean, we practically all the time. 3 months is not enough to be able for us to be able to get all we can get. How long would you think, if you were to have an ideal, and I keep going back to your use of the word lab, if you were to have a lab at your disposal in St Kitts and Nevis, how long do you think it will take, if with the right support and everything in the right place, for you to be able to make the impact that you would like to make?
Example, at least 1 year.
Yeah.
But 2 years is okay, it's enough. Why? In my experience in Asia, I got the academy. My first stint in Asia, it was academy. I spent 2 years in Yadanarbon Football Club, and all the players from this club, they are going. All the players, several players, they are going to the first time in Myanmar, the World Cup, Under-20 World Cup in New Zealand in 2015. So I set up then, you know. They spent with me 2 years straight, every single day. And then we start like a academy, like a baby, step by step, and then baby, child, teenager, like that.
Yeah.
And then they are going to the World Cup, Under-20 World Cup in New Zealand. So they can play amazing football.
Nice.
And today, they are playing for the senior team. You know, 2 years, I think it's enough.
It's enough.
2 years.
Well, here's to hoping that you get, you know, that
That's
time.
why. That's why. Sorry. Just to complete. That's why, example, the young players that we have now in the national team, especially the under 23 players.
Right.
1 year or 2 years later, I have sure they can play a different football with different concept of football.
And they understand a bit more.
Yeah, a different standard of football. Play with more ball possession, but with they need to read the game
better.
exactly. But it's not so easy. But if they are going to the training, it's a big challenge at training, you know, because I come for a stay 1 year, at least 1 year. But I sent a proposal already for the association to start at least maybe 2 or 3 days per week about our training, the national training. Like
Right.
We try create like a permanently
Right.
and constantly national team training. You know,
Yes.
especially about the local players. You know?
Yes. Now, in doing so, would you also like be including more than the current local coaches, or would you use different local coaches for that particular setup? Because it seems almost as if capacity. What my challenge is that, for example, you have I know Yellowman and I know Deco works with you very closely,
Yeah.
so they have a very good idea as to the type of football, so they can help prepare their players now but you would want other coaches from around the island now to be able to understand what you are looking for, so they can start training their younger players and their players to meet the necessary expectations. Is there room for that, for, let's say, a little coaching training of the sort with other local league coaches or something of the sort?
We have so many good local coaches. We have George Isaac, Yellowman, Dico is nickname of Austin Huggs.
Yeah, Augustine Huggins.
We have the Jamaican coach of Saddlers.
Yes. His name always slips me, but it'll come back to me.
We have Coach Congo from São Paulo.
Yeah.
He's very good coach. Also São Paulo is good because they change the formation. For me, my view is the only they try, you know, they change the formation according to the game. They use 4-4-2, 3-4-3, 4-3. They change the formation. It's good because they try use more creativity.
And the players themselves get accustomed to the changes.
Sometimes they use 4-4. I enjoy. You know, of course. And then I invite all the coaches for coming to check your training. You know, like a workshop. It's good for them. They can come always.
Yes, brilliant. Well, I'm hoping that the FA gives a lot more consideration, because I would like to see more of you. I would like to converse more with you. We'll probably meet up over by Spuddy on the beach a little bit. But I really want to give you the fullest support. And on behalf of the listening public, we want to thank you for allowing us to benefit from your experience, from all that you bring. And we wish you all the very best in your World Cup qualifiers when you head off next weekend. You're going to have, if nothing else, St Kitts is going to be fully passionate behind your team, and they're going to be representing and supporting you 100%. So thank you very, very much. And we hope that you're going to be here with us to be able. I really would like to see what that lab would be able to produce in St Kitts if you're given the opportunity.
Sure.
I would. So thank you, and thank the listeners and everyone else who has been listening in to the program this afternoon. And I'm almost certain, can I ask, when you have returned and you've settled down and everything else from the World Cup qualifiers, that we come back and maybe discuss the games a little bit more,
of course.
And some more of the ideas.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thanks a lot for opportunity for coming here to talk about football. We love to talk about football. If it's a good conversation, it's 1 hour, but we can stay here maybe
another hour and a half.
2 hours more.
Yes.
And I hope that when I come back, we come back with very good news. No?
Yes.
I hope so.
I think we will.
I hope with maybe at least 2 wins or maybe 1 win and 1 draw. We cannot lose.
We're looking for 2 wins, coach. We're looking
Yeah,
for
2 wins.
you know?
I agree.
And I think the level of experience that you bring and the level of quality that you bring is going to make a difference. And
I hope so.
I'm optimistic.
I hope so.
About it.
Always with a positive mind.
Yes,
Sure.
yes. So thank you very
Thanks
much.
a lot.
We'll be full. You have our full support throughout. Again, thanks to all the listeners this evening. Thanks to our producer behind the scenes. And we want to sign off on a very positive note, wishing the St Kitts and Nevis national football team all the very best in the World Cup qualifiers, the upcoming World Cup qualifiers. And we wishing Coach Leo all the best in his tenure here with us going forward. So signing off and saying a pleasant good afternoon to one and all.